In the main event, it's a 5-round fight between middleweight contenders Reinier and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. That is a bad fight.
Dana White has just announced the two banger fights in the middleweight division that will decide Khamzat's first title challenger, so according to the official announcement, Nasruddin Imavov will face Borralho in Paris, France on September 6, while Anthony Hernandez is going to face Reinier on October 18 in Vancouver, Canada.
In the main event, it's a 5-round fight between middleweight contenders Reinier and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. That is a badass fight. And obviously next month in Paris, we have another top middleweight contender fight between number 2 ranked Imavov and 7th ranked Borralho.
Dana White said the next challenger for Khamzat Chimaev's title could come from either the winner of Reinier versus Anthony Hernandez or Nasruddin Imavov versus Borralho. He explained that both matchups carried massive implications for the middleweight division and would help determine Chimaev's next opponent.
We'll see how this whole thing plays out, and we're going to end up with a middleweight challenger for Khamzat Chimaev's title that he just won. So these fights have massive implications.
Khamzat has already called out Reinier in a tweet, but the Chechen fighter will not hesitate to fight anyone UFC puts against him. Khamzat Chimaev said he is confident and ready to fight anyone. He explained that he doesn't care about rankings or contenders and is only focused on whoever the UFC chooses to put in front of him.
Do you still want to turn around and fight in Abu Dhabi?
We'll see what they say. I'm ready always, so no injuries. Thanks, God.
Who do you think is the most deserving contender to challenge you for that belt first?
I don't care about these things, bro. I just, where they give the money, I fight anyone.
The top contenders also reacted to Khamzat's win at UFC 319 and know how ruthless Khamzat is. Reinier reacts to Khamzat Chimaev's call-out with confidence. He says he feels comfortable no matter where the fight goes, on the ground, in the clinch, or on the feet. Believes their clash could turn into a grappling showcase for the ages, with both men testing each other in every position. He adds that he trusts his knees, takedowns, and submission threats off his back, making him confident that he can match Khamzat everywhere.
Show you're a white belt. Yeah. This seems like good. You're getting some momentum here.
Yeah, I think I can do well in all the positions. If I end up on bottom, if I end up on top, I believe I have a lot to show in that fight, and I think it could be like a grappling fight for the ages. Our styles match up very cool, and I believe it could be a very awesome fight. Yeah. The main thought in my mind is if he takes me down, great. If I take him down, great. If it's in the clinch, great. If it's in the stand-up, it's great. So I'm not worried about where it goes at all. I think I can hit him with some good knees. I believe I can take him down.
Anthony Hernandez also reacted to the middleweight title fight by calling it dull, then used the moment to call out Khamzat Chimaev. He said his wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and relentless cardio would neutralize Chimaev's strengths, insisting he could push the pace, drag him into deep waters, and prove himself as the next Mexican-American champion.
Tell me your thoughts on what we saw. Khamzat Chimaev, the new champion of the middleweight division.
Congratulations to him. It's a fucking pretty boring fight, I'm not gonna lie. But man, call me for the fight. I can wrestle, I can do jiu-jitsu, I can stop all this shit, and I can shut him down. And like with my gas tank, man, I'll drown him, I promise. I'll make him fucking work. So call me, keep me in mind, guys, and I think you guys will have a new Mexican-American champion.
Borralho also said Khamzat Chimaev's win didn't surprise him, but admitted it felt less exciting without a finish. Having trained with Chimaev at All Stars, he claims to understand the system better than anyone and saw himself as the one fighter capable of beating him despite their brotherly respect.
We see 529 total strikes landed, 21 minutes of ground control, but you see a lot of fans out there calling it boring, not exciting. What did you think?
I think he did what he always does, but this time he didn't finish. So when a grappler comes and just hug the guys and he doesn't finish, it becomes a boring fight. Spent 1 month in his training camp when he was in All Stars over there, and I know very well how he works, his system and everything. And I think have advantage between all the middleweight fighters. I think I'm the one that have advantage to beat him, because I know what exactly is he's doing, what exactly is his system, and all the steps that he needs to go through and how to deny these steps. So I'm very respectful for Khamzat. He's like a brother for me, but at this time, at this point, at this level of the competition, it's me and him, you know.
Borralho stated he would take a fight with Khamzat Chimaev in Abu Dhabi without hesitation. He criticized Nasruddin Imavov for avoiding tough opportunities and claimed Chimaev had already dominated him early in training. Borralho added that if the UFC made the offer, he would be ready to step in immediately.
Talk maybe Khamzat will turn around for Abu Dhabi. Would you be open to fighting and then fighting again that soon, or would you maybe have him fight someone else, then you get the winner?
To be honest, if somebody offered Imavov to fight Khamzat, he would say no right now, because he was mopped in the floor by Khamzat when they trained together. So to be honest with you, if the UFC comes to me right now and say, fuck Imavov, he's a guy that gives us a lot of work. He didn't want to fight on International Fight Week. He called the backup as a leftover. He's like, he don't respect the UFC. So fuck Imavov, fuck Paris, go prepare to fight Khamzat in October. I'm ready. If the UFC offer me this, I'll say yes right away.
Meanwhile, Reinier further praises Khamzat Chimaev's performance against Dricus du Plessis at UFC 319. He admits the fight didn't unfold the way he expected, but says he was blown away by how dominant Khamzat looked. calls it one of the most exciting displays he has ever seen, and is especially impressed that Khamzat managed to control Dricus for the entire 5 rounds.
So, give me your impressions. Like, what did you think of the performance? Did it play out, I assume, probably not exactly how you thought it would?
Nah, not at all. What I thought was going to happen, but it was very, very impressive. It might have been the most exciting thing we've all ever watched, but it's crazy that he was able to control Dricus like that for 5 rounds. I was very impressed.
Reinier reflects on Dricus du Plessis' struggle against Khamzat Chimaev. He says, Dricus may have been hoping Khamzat would fade, but that isn't realistic when someone is that dominant. Was surprised by some of Dricus' choices, trying to get up, and felt it was clear by the 2nd round that he wouldn't recover, especially after Khamzat's crucifix forced him to burn massive energy.
Were you impressed that he was able to do that for as long as he did?
A little bit, but I do think there were only like a couple moments that he really had to work hard, like just because he got the takedown so quickly and he got it like pretty easily. He spent some energy there, but while he was on the floor, Dricus was the guy expending the most energy. Khamzat was just very much in control.
Reinier admits he's impressed with how Khamzat Chimaev handled Dricus du Plessis. He says Khamzat only had to push hard in a few moments, mostly during the takedowns, which he secured quickly and without much trouble. Once the fight hit the ground, points out that Dricus was the one burning energy, while Khamzat stayed composed and in full control.
Dricus was hoping he was going to slow down, but nobody's going to slow down when you're that dominant. It's not enough to survive. You got to make another guy tired. Surprised, like some of the choices he made getting up were just wrong. I was very surprised, but I was watching it, and after the 2nd round I was pretty sure Dricus was not going to be able to come back, just because of the amount of control, and he was spending a lot of energy. Khamzat got the crucifix that was really zapping Dricus' energy, because he had to try and get out with working very hard. All in all, I was pretty surprised, yeah.
Reinier says he is ready to face Khamzat Chimaev as early as UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi. He believes his unique skill set offers a different challenge than anyone Khamzat has faced, and welcomes the fight wherever it goes, on the ground or on the feet. Asked about the quick turnaround, shows no hesitation and simply says, send the contract.
And I think, like, when you look at Khamzat's dominance, like, I think you do present the toughest challenge.
Yeah, and a unique challenge, I think. My skill set is very different from the other guys, so I'm very much down for the fight. We're working on it, so hopefully it comes together. And like, if he takes me down, good. If he wants to stand up, good. So we'll see.
Would you be willing to make that quick of a turnaround in October? Is that too soon? Or if they said, hey, we need a title fight, are you willing?
100%.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. Send the contract right now.
On the other hand, after winning the UFC 319 belt, Khamzat Chimaev arrived in Chechnya to a hero's welcome. He is greeted warmly by his father and personally received by Ramzan Kadyrov, who congratulates him on becoming champion. These celebrations highlight the pride and excitement surrounding Chimaev's victory as he returns home with the title. Khamzat Chimaev also credited Ramzan Kadyrov for bringing him back to the sport. He said that during a difficult time, Kadyrov encouraged him to keep training and promised he would become champion. Chimaev added that those words motivated him to return, and now he had achieved that goal.
Khamzat, расскажи, пожалуйста, как ты чувствовал поддержку главы региона? Помогла она тебе?
Конечно, помогла. Всегда помогал, и как я после боя сказал, я сам в себя не верил, и когда я сломался, он меня вернул и сказал, если ты будешь тренироваться, и ты станешь чемпионом. И как он сказал, мы вернулись в спорт. Он меня, точнее, вернул в этот спорт, и я стал чемпионом. Альхамдулилlah, благодарю его за это. И он не только меня, наш весь регион поддерживает, и нигде в мире нету такой поддержки, как у нас.
Meanwhile, Dylan Dennis criticized Khamzat Chimaev's style, saying it is easy to deal with. He explained that Dricus du Plessis stayed against the fence and focused on avoiding submissions instead of trying to escape, which didn't wear Khamzat out. Dennis compared it to Kamaru Usman, who actively tried to fight his way out of positions, which is why Chimaev got tired in that matchup. Dylan Dennis said, Khamzat's style is easy, man. What Dricus was doing when he was not trying to get up and trying to stay against the fence and trying to avoid the submission. He's not making Khamzat tired. Usman tried to get out of the positions and actually tried to fight him, and that's why he was getting tired that whole fight. Dricus didn't do anything to get him tired. However, MMA Guru calls Khamzat Chimaev's win over Dricus du Plessis a disaster for the South African. He says, Khamzat completely dominated the title fight, using relentless grappling to control and overwhelmed Dricus from start to finish. Guru describes it as one of the most impressive championship performances in recent memory, praising how effectively Khamzat was able to impose his style.
It was a disaster for Dricus du Plessis. It really was. Khamzat Chimaev wet blankets him. There's of course another side of this that we're going to get into a debate on, but in terms of the impressiveness of his performance, which sometimes get lost in my emotion, the impressiveness of his performance, I mean, it was one of the most impressive title fights in a very long time. He completely dominated, and his grappling was incredibly effective. And he chucked around Dricus and just wet blanketed him. It was very impressive.
MMA Guru says he is shocked by Dricus du Plessis' grappling, though he credits Khamzat Chimaev's elite skill for making him look limited. He explains that du Plessis tried a few things early, but once they failed, he seemed to settle on surviving and hoping Chimaev would slow down later in the fight. Guru notes that Chimaev never faded because he didn't have to struggle much. And while many will credit his improved cardio to a new training regime, he believes a big factor is that Chimaev was able to conserve energy while resting in the crucifix position.
I do want to say that I was very shocked by Dricus du Plessis' grappling. Although it's because Khamzat Chimaev's grappling so good, I was shocked that Dricus had less choices to go to. You know what I mean? It's like he tried a few things, they didn't work, and then he just went, I'll just see if he's still around in round 3, 4, and 5.
Yep.
And it turns out Chimaev is, because he didn't have to struggle like he normally does. A lot of people are going to put the improved cardio of Chimaev down to this new training regime, and that might be something to do with it, but I think one of the big factors here is he was just catching his breath in the crucifix position on DDP. There was no like big struggle for Chimaev to try and retain control. That's where we've seen him slow down in fights before.
Demetrius Johnson shared that the biggest takeaway from Khamzat Chimaev's fight with Dricus du Plessis is that Dricus had no answer for the grappling. He explains that they expected Dricus to defend takedowns better, especially early when he was still fresh. Johnson notes that Dricus stands too tall, doesn't lower his level well, and isn't very agile in his fade, but he still thought Dricus would at least stop a few attempts.
I think the biggest thing about that, man, is that Dricus had no answer for the grappling. You know, I thought that Dricus could at least defend a takedown, you know, when he was fresher, right? Like, you know, he does sit up tall, right? He's not, you know, he doesn't lower his elevation. He's not the most elegant on the feet. You know, his agility isn't the, you know, the sharpest. But I thought at least he'd be able to defend a takedown.
Demetrius Johnson points out that every time Khamzat Chimaev took Dricus du Plessis down, he landed in dominant positions like side control or half guard before eventually moving to the crucifix. Johnson explains that once a fighter secures the crucifix, it's essentially a checkmate position. He recalls how Chimaev even once threatened a key lock at one point, which forced Dricus to move, but the constant pressure of small strikes kept him trapped.
Every single time he would land in side control or half guard, pass guard, then go for the crucifix. Each time I got the crucifix, like I always tell people, like when you get somebody in crucifix, that's like a check move. Like you're supposed to, like, once Khamzat went for the key lock on the far side arm, he actually had Dricus move. Like Dricus actually started to do stuff. But then once Dricus basically put his ear to his heart or his neck, and those little strikes kept on going on, nothing was gonna happen, right? Like you heard Khamzat's corner say elbow, elbow, bigger strikes, bigger strikes. But I heard you say like he didn't want to land bigger strikes because when you have to land bigger strikes, you give more space to land, and when you get more space, it gives you more time to move.
Demetrius Johnson also praised both fighters. He highlighted Chimaev's dominance while applauding du Plessis for his resilience and creativity, noting his willingness to chase submissions even while outmatched. Johnson added that fans who dislike grappling should watch other combat sports instead of criticizing MMA.
There we go. Oh, oh, 2 minutes left, baby. Let's see what you got. King of Africa. Oh! I'm sorry, chat. I wanted to see a finish.
This isn't a fan-friendly style.
Oh! Oh, shit! He's gonna finish. Oh, oh, shit! Oh!
He's got a body triangle. Oh, man. Just out wrestled, but great fight from Khamzat. DDP has a lot of heart, and I love that about him. I love that he's able to transition. He took the back, had a body triangle, went for a guillotine, went for a Reinier choke. If you guys don't want to watch grappling and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, don't watch UFC. Go watch One Championship, go watch Glory, go watch kickboxing.
Meanwhile, Paddy Pimblett defended Khamzat Chimaev's performance, saying only casuals would dislike the fight. He praised the grappling as some of the highest he had ever seen and called it a one-sided beatdown.
For the casuals, this isn't going to be like a fun fight to watch, but for people who actually do MMA and are like old school fans, they'll appreciate it because, well, I appreciate it because this is the levels of the game, lad, and Khamzat's grappling levels high, very high. As wrestling and as MMA wrestling's brilliant, lad. I don't know if I've ever seen a fight like this, like champion, such a one-sided beatdown, because Chimaev's nearly won every second of this fight. So what I mean, you know, the crowd are booing, where it's not Khamzat's fault that Dricus can't stop him doing this.
Henry Cejudo also called Khamzat Chimaev's win at UFC 319 one of the most dominant title fights in UFC history, praising his distance closing, precise shots, and relentless pace. Kamaru Usman agreed, saying Dricus du Plessis was tough, but helpless once Chimaev locked his hands and secured the takedown. Both pointed to Chimaev's folk-style wrestling, top control, and crucifix position, noting how he punished DDP over all 5 rounds.
I mean, you're talking about the most dominant championship fight in UFC history, man. I talk about just getting dominant. Khamzat, he gets close to people, and then he has a really good penetration shot. But what makes Khamzat Chimaev special is this conditioning, man.
Look, I kept saying this. Dricus du Plessis is very dangerous and very, very tough. But once he realized he could get this fight down to the ground, and when he locked his hand, Dricus had no answer for it. What a brilliant performance.
DDP had no answer, man. From getting taken down, top riding folk-style wrestling to eventually just getting crucifixed. He punished the him all 5 rounds.
Kamaru Usman said Khamzat Chimaev's power wrestling exposed holes in Dricus du Plessis' game, noting that even with some sloppy entries, Chimaev's strength carried him. Henry Cejudo added that while Dricus had been hyped as a future 2-division threat after big wins, Chimaev shut that down with one of the most dominant showings of his career.
I said this, we haven't seen Dricus du Plessis fight a wrestler since Derek Brunson, and we saw how that fight was looking early on. Khamzat Chimaev is a very confident wrestler, and even in the striking, he was doing well. I didn't love his entries, but man, when you are just this strong.
Did you see my tweet, man? This must be the most dominant championship performance by any UFC fighter in UFC championship history. He got out wrestled, he got out controlled. There are some rounds where you can go 10-7. A champion that people were thinking, this kid could potentially go up and even become light heavyweight champion of the world. The way he was disposing of Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland, that says a lot of what Khamzat has done.
And that wraps up today's video, and we hope you've enjoyed it. Share your thoughts about this matchup in the comments section, and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about upcoming UFC encounters.